Welcome. Have you guys, any of you guys ever done this before? Not this kind of this?
No, it's the first time.
Yeah. So one of the first times that after we set this up here, we have 3 of them now, just here in Atlanta. But I was having a discussion with a bunch of engineers from Basking Ridge, and a customer from Hawaii was walking down the hallway, and they looked in, and the salesman's pointing, "Look at this is Telepresence." So I waved them in. So they came in and they sat down, and I explained to them about Telepresence and what it's all about and how it works and everything. And while that happened, the engineering team at Basking Ridge, it was lunchtime, the pizza delivery man came in through the door. So they picked up the box of pizza and put it like this up in front of the camera and said, "You want a piece?" So, anyways, it's changed a lot of lives around here. Not so much mine, but I'll just give you some of the basic parameters of telepresence before we get into introductions. This is running. This is 1080p, so it's progressive scan. It's running at a high definition rate, about 4 megabits per second per panel. So a typical session like this, it's taking up 12 to 14 megabits per second. The other thing you'll notice about it is, because sound quality is just as important as video quality in many cases, it's full duplex audio. So if we wanted to scream and yell at one another, we could do it at exactly the same time, and there's no clipping like you have on a cell phone or a telephone. There's no clipping. We started with the 3-screen version, but we then went to a 1-screen version. So my boss, whose office is right next to mine upstairs, has a single panel, but I wanted to use the 3 panel so you could see the full Monty here, right? So, but we have a lot of single panels, and some people now in senior management even have them in their homes. Well, now think about this. We have 1,600 people in Bangalore, and a senior vice president over there who's our globalization officer, which means he's worried about transplanting Cisco technology all over the place, especially in Asia Pacific. So his flights are shorter now, but he has to live in India. It's 10.5 hours time difference. So if we wanted to have a so if we wanted to have a meeting with him right now, it's 12:30 in the morning, right? And so he has one of these in his house, in his office, right next to his bedroom, so that he can be more efficient in the way he works. Yeah. We now have a version that has 2 or 3 tiers, so that you can actually have tiers going up in the back, and we can have a room full of 20 or 30 people, have broader meetings. We have a Soho, small and home office version that typically runs on a 42-inch high definition panel and runs at a slightly lower data rate, and some of those they're talking about turning down to 720 progressive scan. But the eventual goal, which will be interesting, and I'm going to give you a short technical presentation in a minute, the eventual goal is to be able to do this in your house. And our view, since we've shipped over 50 million digital set-tops from Cisco, and you're a Cox customer in Phoenix, you've got one of our set-tops, maybe 2 or 3. Our goal is to actually take the technology and embed it inside the set-top box. Now, that may not happen for 5 or 6 years, but eventually put it inside the set-top. Because if you think about it, you probably have broadband at home. If we increase the quality of service on your broadband, probably for an extra price, Cox will charge you more for this, but that's okay. You have to have symmetrical data rate, right? Because you got to have it coming and going, and it's got to be locked in to give you this kind of quality. But you have broadband already, and that goes into the set-top. Your set-top's already hooked up to probably your 5-panel TV in the living room, and all we really have to do is put a good audio codec in the set-top, and we're already working on doing that. And then the last piece you need to do this is a good high-definition camera. So about 2 months ago, we bought Pure Digital, which makes the flip cameras. Anybody have a flip camera? Have you seen them? You got one? Somebody's around the corner over there?
Yeah, I've got one. Our university has an actual cache of flip cameras that our faculty use, to create little fast, quick videos to put in our online courses. And they're fantastic. They're so easy to use.
Yeah, that's the good thing about Flip. Well, we bought the company.
Fantastic.
They had these really good high-def cameras, and they had really good solid-state chipsets. And if you've used them, and I don't know who that is sitting around the corner, but if you've used them, you know what I'm talking about. If you go to a prom or a high school graduate, come on, just move around here. Or sit behind them. If you sit behind them, it works too. I sit in the back row when I'm in meetings. I like sitting back there. That way I can throw stuff. But
Can you see me now?
Yeah.
Can you see Sue now?
Just your right arm.
So here, let's.
Very, very well. Okay, so what happens is you go to a high school graduation now, and everybody's holding up their flip cameras. Because they take an hour to 2 hours of high definition. And then it has a USB port on it, so all you do is flip it open and stick it in the side of the laptop, and it records it on your computer. It's that simple. Press one button.
What I love about the Flip is that you can give the Flip to a non-technological faculty member, and they can record a lecture and load it themselves without needing help from faculty, and it's phenomenal for that. So.
Okay, so we're eventually going to put it into the house, and it's just really cool. Now we have shipped over 2,200 of these installations around the world. We have approximately 400 inside Cisco. FedEx, Kinko's, and Marriott hotels are going to start operating these as video teleconferencing setups, and who knows what they're going to charge for it. But if you think about it, if you have to go to Sky Harbor, get on an airplane, fly across the country, stay in a hotel for 2 nights to have a meeting, what would it be worth to you if you're running a business to be able to drive down to the FedEx Kinko's on the corner and spend $500 with your whole staff to do this instead?
Yeah.
So what John Chambers did was, after we started to deploy all these systems, he said, I want everybody using them. And so part of the delay in getting you guys together is this room's used almost continuously. And he said, in order to emphasize it, this was before the economic downturn, he said, to emphasize that I'm cutting everybody's travel budgets 20%. Now, since that time, we've even gotten tighter on the travel budgets because we can do this. And in addition to just, we don't do any travel now for internal meetings anymore. So we don't have any more management meetings, sales meetings, anything like that. We do them all virtually. We still have the meetings, but we do them virtually. We had 2,300 of our senior managers in a virtual management meeting last month. 2,300 people. But what's happened since the economic downturn, we've cut the travel even more, and we're going to save $500 million in travel this year by using telepresence. And the next evolution that we took on it was, we now have inter-company connections. It used to be that we can Cisco TPs can only talk to Cisco TPs. Well, now I routinely have meetings with AT&T, Cox, Verizon, all our major customers, because they all have them. AT&T, who is our biggest customer, is a reseller of telepresence. So they resell them and operate them. Now here's the hidden trick in all this, just so you know. The hidden trick in all this is, the more high-speed video you put on the edge of the network to do cool stuff like this, the more routers you need. We figured that out all by ourselves. And so the way we joke about it within Cisco is, even if we didn't save all this money traveling, we would have, and even if we didn't make money on these rigs, we probably would have done it anyways, just because we sell a lot more routers. So, well, enough about that. Jim, you want to introduce everybody?
Yeah, you remember John.
I'll introduce myself first.
Yeah, good, Bob.
I'm the CTO of the service provider business at Cisco. And what that means is, my customers are the guys I just told you. All the telephone companies, all the cable companies, all the programmers and broadcasters, the satellite TV operators, and the wireless companies. So anybody that provides a service to a consumer is our customer. We're about 40% of Cisco right now. Another 40% of Cisco is enterprise. Those guys sell equipment to Procter & Gamble, General Electric, JP Morgan,